All right, welcome back to math. Yesterday we talked about remainders, and you guys had a lot of great practice on finding remainders. And just to do a real quick, simple problem, we're going to do one real quick. 5 divided by 2 equals. You know Mr. B, he always loves a good ratio table. So we're trying to figure out how many times 2 can go into 5. If it goes in 1 time, we'd have 2. If it goes in 2 times, we'd have 4. If it goes in 3 times, we'd have 6, but 6 is bigger than 5, so that is no good. So we know it's less. So we know it's 2, but we didn't use all of our 5. We still have some left over because we only went up to 4. So we know it's 2, but now we have to do 5 minus 4 to get 1. So we have 1 left over, so we have remainder 1. So we have 5 divided by 2, it equals 2, but we didn't use up all of our number up here, so we figured out how much we have left. We have 1 left. So that is what we call remainder, when you have some left. Today we're going to talk about what you can do with the remainder, and not quite yet. Eventually we'll get into talking about fractions and decimals. That's down the line, what a remainder is. But we're going to talk about what to do with remainders in story problems. Woo-woo! All right, so what do we do with remainders in story problems? Let's look at this one here. Let's just say I have 29 cookies, and I want to give them to the 4 other 4th grade teachers. So we're going to divide it up evenly with the 4 other 4th grade teachers. So remember, when you're doing the area model or the division, you can use the circles if you want, but I'd like to try to see you push yourself and try to go up to the ratio table if you want. And I'm going to do some bigger jumps so it can go a little bit faster, but you can do smaller jumps. So how many times can 4 go into 29? If it does it once, it has a total of 4. I'm actually going to make kind of a big jump. I'm going to say if it can go in 5 times, it's 20. If it goes in 6 times, it's 24. 7 is 28. 8 times is 32. Oop, we've reached the limit. 32, too much. So we know that it can go in at least 7 times. And now we have extra up here, so we need to figure out how much extra. So 29 minus 28 equals 1. Remainder 1. So we solved the problem, but we have to go back to the original word problem. Remember, the original word problem said Mr. B has 29 cookies, and he wants to share it with the 4 other teachers. So each teacher would get 7 cookies, and I would have 1 left over. But if it's a cookie, could I break it in a piece to give to each teacher? Yeah. So I could break this 1 piece into 4 different pieces, or fourths. Right now, a 1, if you remember right, is the same as saying 4 over 4. So this is the whole thing, and that's how many pieces are in it. If you think about my cookie. If I go like this, and I have my cookie here, and I broke it into 4 pieces, and they're all together right now. Let's say I start giving 1 piece to Mr. Hammersley, another piece to Miss Donovan, 1 piece to Miss Tanner, and 1 piece right here to Miss Keller. Now, I'm going to draw it so you can see it. So this is the piece right here that Miss Keller has. So she has 1/4 of a cookie. So we split this remainder into 4 different pieces, and she has 1/4 of the cookie. So in total, each teacher would get 7 1/4 cookies. Remainders work awesome. Mr. B has a thing hanging here. Remainders work awesome when you can break the item into pieces. Not all items can be broken into pieces though. Let's look at this problem here. Mr. B His house is full of Beyblades. I have 10 Beyblades sitting at my house. And I have 3 friends that come over and want to play with them. So I have to divide the Beyblades into 3 different groups. 3 friends. We want to know how many each friend would get. So I'm going to set up my ratio table. And I'm going to do 1. How many times can 3 go into 10? If it does it 1 time, it can fit in there. 3 is a total of 3. 2 is 6. 3 is 9. 4 is 12. Oh, 12 is too much. So we know it's at 3. And then we can figure out what our remainder is. So up here, I want to figure out how many more I have left over. So I'm going to take 10 minus 9 to get my leftovers, and I have 1. So we have remainder 1. But, again, we need to remember our story problem. Ben, Mr. B, has 10 Beyblades he can share with 3 friends. And so if I try to split them up evenly, I can give 3 remainder 1 to each friend. Could I split this Beyblade up into pieces for my friends? No. So the max they can get is just 3. And Mr. B gets to keep the remainder 1 right here to himself. So that's a time that we would ignore the remainders when we can't break it up into pieces to give out. The cookie we could do something about because we could break the cookie into pieces and hand them out. Another cool thing that we can do, and remainders kind of relate to, is money. So let's say Mr. B has $13. And he wants to divide it between his 4 neighbors that help rake his yard. So I have $13 and I'm paying 4 people. We need to figure out how much each student can make, or each raker can make. So they came to me and they said, Mr. B, can we rake your yard? And I said, yep, I only have $13. And they said, sure, we'll do it. And then now they need to split up that money. So we're going to take it. I'm going to go with my ratio table. How many times can 4 go into 13? Well, 1 is 4. 2 is 8. I'm going up by 4 every time. 3 is 12. Still not big enough. 4 is 16. Oop, that's when we know it's too much. So I know it's at least 3. And now we have to figure out how many dollars I have left over. So I started off with 13 and we've used up 12. So 13 minus 12 equals $1 left over. But what do we know about dollars? What can we do with dollars? Yeah, they can break up into smaller pieces of change called cents. So if I want to break $1 up into 4 pieces, how many cents make up $1? 100 cents make up $1. So what coin can we think of, or coin combinations can we think of that would break up into 4 pieces? And a lot of you are probably shouting at me going, Mr. B, 4 quarters makes $1. So we could break this dollar up to the 4 people and each give them a quarter. So a quarter here, quarter here, quarter here, quarter here, or 25 cents. And now I can bring that 25 cents up to the $3 they already got, and they get a total of $3.25. $3.25. So money you can break up. So you have to be really careful of when you're thinking of your items if you can break it up and give it out equally, or if it's something that you can't break up and you might have to round down. And there's occasional cases, we'll talk about them later, where you need to round up. But that's what we do with remainders. So even though I said we weren't going to do decimals, we kind of did decimals and fractions just a little bit, just a little peek ahead. So I know I went really fast. Watch the videos over again if you have to. Any questions, please come ready in whole group. Make sure you get your pod done before class, and I will see you in live. Bye.